Brigadier Asif, what are the possibilities of an Indian false flag operation on its own soil in order for them to try to achieve their geopolitical goals through the application of hard power?
Well, it's a loaded question, and this possibility cannot be altogether ruled out, particularly when seen in the backdrop of the Indian mindset, their dangerous designs against Pakistan, and their way of doing things as we have experienced in the last 6-7 years, as well as in spy operations and propaganda war. And these India has been successfully applying against all the regional countries, 7 states of South Asia, and particularly against Pakistan, because India considers Pakistan to be the only stumbling block in its greater ambitions to become a regional power and then the global power. Now, when we look back at the history of India, to narrate a few, you would recall that in January 1971, RAW had masterminded Ganga hijacking plane, and that incident was undertaken so as to disrupt east and west air traffic. And as a result, Pakistan had to undertake long circuitous journey from via Colombo. And it thanks to the Colombo government that they allowed our military aircraft and the PIA planes to go via Colombo. Otherwise, India had exerted maximum pressure on the then government of Sri Lanka to disallow it. And otherwise, East Pakistan would have been separated and right in January of 1971. So that was one that came to my mind. Then more recently, on 13th December 2001, if you recall again, there was a terrorist attack on the Indian Parliament, and without even carrying out the preliminary investigation, the Lashkar-e-Taiba and ISI was blamed. And then, there was an uproar, there was a hysteria on the media, and biggest ever Trump mobilization took place. And this happened when Pakistan had been made a frontline state to, confront the global war terrorism, and our 70,000 troops were deployed along the western border. And in this time frame, India being the strategic ally of United States, and also, saying that terrorism is the biggest threat, they had, deployed their troops and their navy and their air force against Pakistan, and there was a 10-month military standoff, and war was around the corner. But eventually, because Pakistan gave a tough response, it had to then back off. And then after that, I'll narrate the incident of the 26th of November 2008, when that Mumbai attacks took place. Now, that was again with certain ulterior motives, and one of them was that suddenly the occupied Kashmir, it had become very restive, and there was a big movement, unarmed movement, and that was a big worry for them. And then they were not achieving much against Pakistan in their covert war. So all this, they created this false flag operation so as to get Lashkar-e-Taiba as a terrorist organization and ISI as a rogue organization. Now again, you will remember that between 2001 and 2008, all acts of terror taking place in India were put in the basket of Pakistan, that is the ISI. And this included some Jodha Express in which about 60 Pakistanis were burned to death, the Makkah Mosque, Hyderabad, Melgaon, and several others. And they were all, repeatedly saying that, Pakistan is involved in that. Now, then what happened? That in 2008, I remember that Hemant Karkare, their anti-terrorist chief of Maharashtra, he, bumped across a group, and he found out that all those acts of terror were the handiwork of their own Hindu terrorist group, and in which their serving intelligence officers, including one Lieutenant Colonel Purohit, they were involved, and they were carrying out all the acts of terror. And then the Indians political leadership, they admitted that 2001 was a false flag operation and 2008 was a false flag operation with certain ulterior motives. So this being the background, one cannot then rule out that now that the situation has become so difficult and precarious for India that they may undertake another false flag operation in which they are experts, and RAW, which has been assigned this special task to scuttle or disrupt CPC. So this is one of the tools that the RAW has to carry out false flag operation, in which Israel and America is also quite expert, and they seek assistance from these, the CIA, Mossad, and MI6 and such like organizations. They are very close to each other. And then this flurry of hostile, offensive statements by various Indian leaders, that is also by design, because they want to create war hysteria, build pressure, and provoke Pakistan to do something so that, again they become victims and put the blame on Pakistan, and then, they divert the attention towards the other side. So that be the thing, the various options or the possibilities which one can see is that one is the surgical strike, as they are mentioning, or some action along the LOC, like attack on a military post, or a false flag operation, as you have mentioned, inside Pakistan. Because after Mumbai attack, if you remember, Manmohan Singh, who was the Prime Minister, he said that if the next, anything of that kind happens, that will mean war. And the Indian leaders have been indicating such like things. Even Robert Gates, the then Secretary of Defense of US, he had also warned Pakistan that, this thing will not be acceptable again. So that kind of another false flag operation cannot be ruled out. They are capable of doing it, and they may do it.